It is imperative that schools support a robust physical education program and provide opportunities for physical activity throughout the day. This bill will recognize such schools. AB 200 is sponsored by the Superintendent of Public Instruction, and I respectfully request your aye vote.
Members, any debate or discussion? Any debate? Seeing none, the Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist, aye. Anderson, Berryhill, Blakesley, Calderon, Canella, aye. Corbett, aye. Correa, aye. De Leon, aye. DeSaulnier, Dutton, aye. Emerson, aye. Evans, aye. Fuller, no. Gaines, no. Hancock, aye. Harmon. Hernandez, aye. Huff, aye. Kehoe,
No. Aye.
aye. LaMalfa, Leno, aye. Ted Lieu, aye. Carol Lieu, aye. Lowenthal, aye. Negrete McLeod. Padilla, aye. Pavley, aye. Price, aye. Rubio, aye. Runner, aye. Semidian, aye. Steinberg, Strickland, aye. Vargas, aye. Walters, Wolk, aye. Wright, Wyland, aye. Yee, aye.
Call the
DeSaulnier,
absent
aye.
members. Call the absent members.
Anderson, aye. Berryhill, aye. Blakesley, aye. Calderon, Harmon, LaMalfa, aye. Negrete McLeod, Steinberg, Walters, Wright, Fuller, okay. Fuller, no to aye. Gaines, no to aye. Calderon, Harmon, Negrete McLeod, Steinberg, Walters, Wright.
Ayes 34, noes 0. The measure passes. File item 213, we'll pass on that. File item 214, we'll pass on that. File item 215, I have no floor manager for that. File item 216, Mr. Emerson. You have 216? All righty. And do you want to do 216 as well? All right. Members, let's go back to 207 for Senator Emerson. He was out of the chambers. 207, the Secretary will read.
Assembly Bill 431 by Assemblymember Ma, enacting to accountancy and making an appropriation therefore.
Senator Emerson.
Thank you, Madam President and members. Assembly Bill 431 will create a retired designation for certified public accountants through the California Board of Accountancy. Currently, when a CPA or a PA wants to retire, the licensee has two choices: either pay the state to maintain an inactive license, which costs the same as an active license, or cancel or surrender their license. Accountants who have practiced for many years are very proud of their profession and believe a delinquent, canceled, or surrendered status is undignified and want to avoid it. However, many retired licensees who simply want to stop paying for inactive licenses have no choice. In California, at least 7 other Department of Consumer Affairs boards offer their professions a retired status, including physicians, dentists, pharmacists, architects, and engineers. AB 431 has received no votes, and I ask for an aye vote.
Any debate, members, any debate on file item 207? Seeing none, the Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist, aye. Anderson, Berryhill, aye. Blakesley, aye. Calderon, Canella, aye. Corbett, aye. Correa, aye. De Leon, DeSaulnier, Dutton, aye. Emerson, aye. Evans, aye. Fuller, aye. Gaines, Hancock, aye. Harmon. Hernandez, Huff, aye. Kehoe,
Aye.
aye. LaMalfa, aye. Leno, aye. Ted Lieu, aye. Carol Lieu, aye. Lowenthal, aye. Negrete McLeod, Padilla, aye. Pavley, Price, aye. Rubio, aye. Runner, aye. Semidian, Steinberg, Strickland, aye. Vargas, aye. Walters, aye. Wolk, Wright, Wolk, aye. Wyland, aye. Yee. Yee, aye.
Call the absent members, please.
Anderson, aye. Calderon, De Leon, Desaulniers, aye. Gaines, aye. Harmon, Hernandez, DeGretta McLeod, Pavley, aye. Semidian, Steinberg, Wright.
And that is ayes 32, noes 0. That measure passes. Members, we're at file item 216 by Senator Emerson's presenting. The Secretary will read.
Assembly Bill 862 by Assembly Member Silva, enacting to developmental services.
Senator Emerson.
Thank you, Madam President and members. Assembly Bill 862 seeks to bring accountability and transparency to the state's regional centers. Recently passed legislation requires the regional centers to post certain key information about their operations on their website. This bill simply adds a few overlooked data points to the existing code section. This measure is about good governance and accountability in a time when our resources are few. AB 862 is supported by service providers, consumers, and family. This bill has received no opposition votes, so I respectfully ask for your support.
Any debate or discussion, members? Any debate? I don't see any, so we will call the roll.
Alquist, aye. Anderson, Berryhill, aye. Blakesley, aye. Calderon, Canella, aye. Corbett, aye. Correa, De Leon, Desaulniers, Dutton, aye. Emerson, aye. Evans, aye. Fuller, aye. Gaines, aye. Hancock, aye. Harmon, Hernandez, Huff, aye. Kehoe,
Aye.
aye. LaMalfa, Leno, aye. Ted Lieu, aye. Carol Lieu, aye. Lowenthal, aye. Negrete McLeod, Padilla, aye. Pavley, aye. Price, aye. Rubio, Runner, Rubio, aye. Runner, aye. Semidian, Steinberg, Strickland, aye. Vargas, aye. Walters, aye. Wolk, Wright, aye. Wyland, aye. Yee. Yee, aye.
Call the absent members.
Anderson, aye. Calderon, Correa, aye. De Leon, Desaulniers, Harmon, Hernandez, LaMalfa, aye. Negrete McLeod, Semidian, Steinberg, Wolk.
Ayes.
Wolk, aye.
Ayes 32, noes 0. The measure passes. Senator Rubio, are you prepared to take up 217? Pass. 218, no manager. 219, no manager. 220, no manager. 221, no manager. 222 and 223 do not have managers. 224 and 225 do not have managers. 226 and 227 do not have managers. Senator Gaines. Oh, all righty. Senator Gaines is going to present file item 228, and the Secretary will read.
Assembly Bill 1352 by Assembly Member Logue, enacting to taxation.
Thank you, Senator Gaines. And
Thank you, Madam President and members.
Whenever you're ready, sir.
Yes, I'd like to present Assembly Bill 1352. It's a district bill and sponsored by the Nevada County Board of Supervisors. This bill would address the unintended conflict between recently passed state budget and a local ordinance passed by county voters. Simply put, this bill ensures that Nevada County's elected officials are able to manage their budget according to both state and local law and are not forced to make cuts to public safety programs or other vital services. AB 1352 is neutral in terms of cost and upholds the intent of both the state budget and the local initiative. I urge your aye vote.
Is there debate or discussion on this item? Seeing none, the Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist, aye. Anderson, aye. Berryhill, aye. Blakesley, Calderon, Canella, aye. Corbett, aye. Correa, aye. De Leon, Desaulniers, aye. Dutton, aye. Emerson, aye. Evans, Fuller, I. Gaines. I. Hancock. I. Harmon. Hernandez. Huff. I. Kehoe.
Aye.
I. LaMalfa. Leno. I. Ted Lieu. I. Carol Lieu. I. Lowenthal. I. Negrete McLeod. Padilla. I. Pavley. I. Price. I. Rubio. I. Runner. I. Semidian. Steinberg. Strickland. I. Vargas. I. Walters. I. Wolk. I. Wright. I. Wyland. I. Yee. Yee, aye.
Call the absent members.
Blakesley. I. Calderon. De Leon. Evans. I. Harmon. Hernandez. LaMalfa. Negrete McLeod. Semidian. Steinberg.
Ayes 32.
Pavley we have as aye. LaMalfa, aye.
All righty. Ayes 33, noes 0. The measure passes. We're at file item 229, and there's no manager. File item 230, Senator Vargas is ready to go. The Secretary will read.
Assembly Concurrent Resolution 66 by Assemblymember V. Manuel Perez relative to the Deputy Probation Officer Irene Rios Memorial Highway.
Senator Vargas.
Thank you very much, Madam President. ACR 66 is a commemorative resolution honoring the life of a fallen law enforcement officer, Deputy Probation Officer Irene B. Rios. Deputy Probation Officer Rios was the first female peace officer to die in the line of duty in Imperial County. She dedicated her life to the children and families she served through the Imperial County Probation Department. ACR recognizes the contributions made by Officer Rios to the local community and the state of California. It also designates a westbound segment of State Highway Route 8 in the Imperial County as Deputy Probation Officer Irene B. Rios Memorial Highway. ACR 66 clearly specifies that all costs associated with the signage will be covered by non-state sources. I would respectfully ask for your aye vote. Thank you.
Members, is there debate or discussion on this? Any debate? We will have the Secretary call the roll.
Alquist. I. Anderson. I. Berryhill. I. Blakesley. I. Calderon. Canella. I. Corbett. I. Correa. De Leon. DeSagne. I. Dutton. I. Emerson. I. Evans. I. Fuller. Gaines. I. Hancock. I. Harmon. Hernandez. Huff. I. Kehoe. I. LaMalfa. I. Leno. I. Ted Lieu. I. Carol Lieu. I. Lowenthal. Negrete McLeod. Padilla. I. Pavley. I. Price. I. Rubio. I. Runner. I. Semidian. Steinberg. I. Strickland. I. Vargas. I. Walters. I. Wolk. I. Wright. I. Wyland. I. Yee. Yee, aye.
Please call the absent members.
Calderon. Correa. I. De Leon. Fuller. Harmon. Hernandez. Lowenthal. I. Negrete McLeod. Smidian.
That's ayes 33 members and noes 0. The measure passes. File item 232 will pass. Senator Lowenthal, for a minute. 232, would you like to take? Will pass. File item 233, Mr. Strickland, would you like to take that up? Pass. All righty. Senator Emerson is away from his desk. File item 235, Senator Carol Lieu, the Secretary will read.
Assembly Bill 138 by Assemblymember Bell enacting to aging.
Senator Lieu.
Thank you, Madam President. Members, AB 138 is a planning tool that will assist California's planning bodies using existing resources in a much smarter way. This bill is necessary. The area agencies on aging, the triple A's, the local planning bodies across California are asking for this mandate, and absent this legislation, say that not all of these triple A's will use the Elder Index. This bill has no cost, according to the department, and actually saves these AAAs time and money in their planning. SB 123 is sponsored by the Insight Center for Community and Economic Development, the C4A, AARP, Senior Community Centers, and the Elder Help of San Diego. There's no opposition, and I ask for your support on the bill.
Any debate or discussion, members? Any debate? Seeing none, Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist? Aye. Anderson? Berryhill? No. Blakesley? Calderon? Canella? No. Corbett? Aye. Correa? Aye. De Leon? DeSaulnier? Aye. Dutton? No. Emerson? Evans? Aye. Fuller? No. Gaines? No. Hancock? Aye. Harmon? Hernandez? Huff? No. Kehoe? Aye. LaMalfa? No. Leno? Aye. Ted Lieu? Aye. Carol Lieu? Aye. Lowenthal? Negrete McLeod? Padilla? Aye. Pavley? Aye. Price? Aye. Rubio? Aye. Runner? No. Semidian? Steinberg? Strickland? No. Vargas? Aye. Walters? No. Wolk? Aye. Wright? Aye. Wyland? No. Yee? Yee, aye.
Call the absent members.
Anderson? No. Blakesley? No. Calderon? De Leon? Emerson? Harmon? Hernandez? Lowenthal? Aye. Negrete McLeod? Semidian? Steinberg? Steinberg, aye.
Call the absent members.
Calderon? De Leon? Emerson? Harmon? Hernandez? Negrete McLeod? Semidian?
And Senator Lieu moves the call. Thank you. We'll take that up in a little bit. File item 236, it's being amended. Well, my file didn't reflect that. Thank you. File item 237, no manager. File item 238, Senator Pavley is not at her desk. File item 239, no manager. File item 240, same thing. File item 241, no manager. 242 and 243 do not have managers. 244 does not have a manager. 245, Senator Price, do you want to take that up? The Secretary will read.
Assembly Bill 973 by Assembly Member Campos and are claimed to courts.
Senator Price.
Thank you, Madam President. AB 973 requires trial courts to provide the public an opportunity to submit written comment on its decisions to change its services prior to adopting plans. It would also require a trial court to hold a public hearing before adopting a budget plan. The Trial Court Funding Act of 1997 removed the mechanisms for public oversight and accountability for the California Superior Court system. The presiding judge of each Superior Court is responsible for daily operations, and the public is excluded from the right to exercise oversight over the system. Because Superior Courts are not subject to provisions of the Brown Act or the Bagley Clean Open Meeting Act, they do not hold public meetings, and therefore the public has no chance to provide input. Members, I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Is there debate or discussion, members? Any debate? Seeing none, the Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist? Aye. Anderson? No. Berryhill? Blakesley? Aye. Calderon? Canella? Aye. Corbett? Aye. Correa? Aye. De Leon? DeSaulnier? Aye. Dutton? Emerson? Evans? Aye. Fuller? Aye. Gaines? Aye. Hancock? Aye. Harmon? Hernandez? Huff? Aye. Kehoe? Aye. LaMalfa? Aye. Leno? Aye. Ted Lieu? Aye. Carol Lieu? Aye. Lowenthal? Aye. Negrete McLeod? Padilla? Aye. Pavley? Aye. Price? Aye. Rubio? Aye. Runner? Aye. Semidian? Steinberg? Aye. Strickland? Aye. Vargas? Aye. Walters? No. Wolk? Aye. Wright? Aye. Wyland? Aye. Yee? Yee, aye.
Call the absent members.
Berryhill, aye. Calderon? De Leon? Dutton? Emerson. Dutton, aye. Emerson, aye. Harmon, Hernandez, Negrete McLeod, Smidian.
Ayes 32, noes 2. The measure passes. File item 246, Senator Walters? Pass. File item 247, no manager. File item 248, Senator Hancock. The Secretary will read.
Assembly Bill 194 by Assembly Member Bell, enacting to post-secondary education.
Thank you, Madam President. And members, AB 194 will provide priority enrollment to former foster youth for classes at California's public colleges and universities. Over 70% of youth in foster care desire to go to college. Only 20% realize this goal. And sadly, only 2 to 3% of former foster youth will complete the program and graduate with a 4-year degree. Challenges begin early for these young people due to multiple foster care placements and have made educational stability difficult. This bill adds former foster youth to the other categories provided priority enrollment: students with disabilities, active duty military, and veterans. This bill extends the same benefit to one of the most underserved populations in terms of available opportunities. It has no opposition and wide bipartisan support. I would ask for your aye vote.
Any debate, members? Any debate? Seeing none, the Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist, aye. Anderson, Berryhill, aye. Blakesley, aye. Calderon, Canella, aye. Corbett, aye. Correa, De Leon, DeSaulnier, aye. Dutton, aye. Emerson, aye. Evans, aye. Fuller, aye. Gaines, aye. Hancock, aye. Harmon, Hernandez, Huff, aye. Kehoe,
Aye.
Aye. LaMalfa, aye. Leno, aye. Ted Lieu, aye. Carol Lieu, aye. Lowenthal, aye. Negrete McLeod, Padilla, Pavley, aye. Price, aye. Rubio, aye. Runner, aye. Smidian, Steinberg, aye. Strickland, aye. Vargas, aye. Walters, aye. Wolk, aye. Wright, aye. Wyland, aye. Yee. Yee, aye.
Call the absent members.
Anderson, Calderon, Correa, aye. De Leon, Harmon, Anderson, no. Harmon, Hernandez, Negrete McLeod, Padilla, aye. Smidian.
Ayes 33, noes 1. The measure passes. We're at file item 249. There's no manager. 250, no manager. 251, no manager. 252, Senator Berryhill. Would you like to take this up? You'll pass already. Thank you. 253, Senator Emerson. Are you going to take that item up? 253. Senator Emerson passes. 254, no manager. 255, I'll pass on that for now. 256, no manager. 257, Senator Fuller. The Secretary will read.
Assembly Bill 982 by Assembly Member Skinner, enacting to energy.
Senator Fuller.
President and members, AB 982 is designed to facilitate the siting of future renewable energy projects in California by requiring the State Lands Commission to enter into a memorandum of agreement with the federal government to create renewable energy parks. According to the U.S. Department of Energy, California has some of the best locations in the world to produce renewable energy. Unfortunately, much of the best renewable energy resource land is held in a patchwork of state, federal, and private landowners. AB 982 is intended to facilitate the consolidation of a sufficient land to build future renewable energy projects and provide revenue from these projects to California. There has been no opposition to this bill. I respectfully request your aye vote.
Is there debate, members? Any debate? Seeing none, Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist, aye. Anderson, aye. Berryhill, aye. Blakesley, aye. Calderon, Canella, aye. Corbett, aye. Correa, aye. De Leon, DeSaulnier, aye. Dutton, Emerson, aye. Evans, aye. Fuller, aye. Gaines, aye. Hancock, aye. Harmon, Hernandez, Huff, aye. Kehoe,
Aye.
aye. LaMalfa, I, Leno. I, Ted Lieu. I, Carol Lieu. I, Lowenthal. I, Negrete McLeod. Padilla. I, Pavley. I, Price. I, Rubio. I, Runner. I, Semidian. Steinberg. I, Strickland. I, Vargas. I, Walters. I, Wolk. I, Wright. I, Wyland. I, Yee.
Call the absent members.
Calderon. De Leon. Dutton. I, Harmon. Hernandez. Negrete McLeod. Semidian. Yee.
Ayes.
Yee, aye.
Ayes 33, ayes 34, noes 0, and the measure passes. File item 258, Senator Lowenthal. 258, you'll pass. File item 259, no manager. Same with 260. 261, Senator Vargas. The Secretary will read.
Assembly Bill 651 by Assemblymember Hueso, enacting to elections.
Senator Vargas.
Thank you, Madam President and members. AB 651 requires professional petition gathering firms to register with the Secretary of State's office and ensures that the residents of California can access information about professional petition gathering firms on the Secretary of State's website. This bill also requires professional petition gathering firms to educate their employees about relevant election laws. Currently, we have little information about professional petition gathering firms, and we are unable to verify whether paid signature gatherers are provided with information on the laws that regulate petition gathering. AB 651 will bring more transparency and accountability to the initiative process and will help decrease fraud and illegal practices in signature gathering by ensuring that circulators are aware of the law and that petition firms are registered with the Secretary of State. This bill is supported by the Secretary of State, and I would respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Is there any debate, members? Any debate on this one? Secretary will call the roll. Beg your pardon. Senator LaMalfa?
Thank you. I rise in opposition to this bill. This is one more attempt to further limit the people's opportunity to take the law into their own hands via the referendum or initiative process. More fees, more regulations. These are volunteer positions. It's not that complicated. We don't need this level of regulation, of training to gather signatures. So we have built-in safeguards already on that, as well as the time-honored incentive of paying people for actual signatures gathered that are valid. So this goes too far. It's part of the atmosphere of anti-initiative process around here in California that's been so prevalent the last few months. I ask for your no vote.
Further debate, members? Senator Anderson.
I'd just like to point out we've had issues in the past with petition gatherers. The beauty of gathering petitions is the opponent of that petition usually sends somebody to videotape, to document, and we usually catch them. This is unnecessary and just another step to thwart people's direct input into government. I urge a no vote.
Further debate, members? Any further debate? Senator Vargas, would you care to close?
Thank you very much, Madam President. You heard of the beauty. Let me show you the ugliness. There have been 34 convictions for petition fraud since 1994, and all of these cases have involved paid petition gatherers. I believe that educating paid petition gatherers about the relevant elections law will help decrease these cases of fraud. Thank you.
Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. No. Berryhill. No. Blakesley. No. Calderon. Canella. No. Corbett. Aye. Correa. Aye. De Leon. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. Emerson. Dutton, no. Emerson, no. Evans. Aye. Fuller. No. Gaines. No. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. Hernandez. Huff. No. Kehoe.
Aye.
Aye. LaMalfa. No. Leno. Aye. Ted Lieu. Aye. Carol Lieu. Aye. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Padilla. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Price. Aye. Rubio. Aye. Runner. No. Semidian. Steinberg. Strickland. No. Vargas. Aye. Walters. No. Wolk. Aye. Wright. No. Wyland. No. Yee. Yee, aye. Hernandez, aye.
Call the absent members.
Calderon, De Leon, aye. Harmon, Negrete McLeod, Smidian, Steinberg.
Senator Vargas moves a call. We are at file item 262. Senator Hancock is not at her desk. File item 263, Senator Lowenthal. The Secretary will read.
Assembly Bill 408 by Assemblymember Wykowski, enacting to the environment and declaring the urge thereof to take effect immediately.
Senator Lowenthal.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President and members. AB 408 provides a wide-ranging series of regulatory reforms addressing the problems of businesses, local governments, and emergency personnel in complying with California's hazardous material and hazardous waste laws. This bill brings together technical elements of our statutes that make our laws simpler for business and for local governments to comply, but it's done in a way that increases the actual protection on the public health and the environment. This bill has enjoyed bipartisan support. The bill is supported by the business community as well as local environmental regulators. There has not been any no votes on this bill. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Is there debate or discussion, members? Any debate? Seeing none, the Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist, aye. Anderson, Berryhill, aye. Blakesley, aye. Calderon, Canella, aye. Corbett, aye. Correa, De Leon, Desagne, aye. Dutton, aye. Emerson, aye. Evans, aye. Fuller, aye. Gaines, aye. Hancock, Harmon, Hernandez, aye. Huff, aye. Kehoe, aye. LaMalfa, aye. Leno, aye. Ted Lieu, aye. Carol Lieu, aye. Lowenthal, aye. Negrete McLeod, Padilla, Pavley, aye. Price, aye. Rubio, aye. Runner, aye. Smidian, Steinberg, Strickland, aye. Vargas, aye. Walters, aye. Wolk, aye. Wright, aye. Wyland, aye. Yee. Yee, aye.
Call the absent members.
Anderson, aye. Calderon, Correa, aye. De Leon, aye. Hancock, Harmon, Negrete McLeod, Padilla, aye. Smidian, Steinberg. Hancock, aye.
Ayes 35, no 0 on the urgency. Ayes 35, no 0 on the measure. That passes, members. We are at file item 264. Senator LaMalfa. Senator LaMalfa is away from his desk. File item 265. Senator Gaines. Do you want to take this up? The Secretary will read.
Assembly Bill 1097 by Assemblymember Skinner, enacting to transit.
Senator Gaines.
Great. Madam President and members, I'd like to present to you AB 1097. It's a simple bill authorizing transit agencies to give a bidding preference to those who can exceed the Buy American standards set by the federal government. This is only for federal money that's being used for transit. The federal government's Buy America rules oversee federally funded procurement, including transportation. These rules set a certain preference for domestic products for trains and buses. The rules require that 60% of the components be American-made. However, these federal standards defer to any stricter state laws. AB 1097 provides that law. By giving a preference for higher domestic content, AB 1097 supports American jobs and the recovery of manufacturing at no cost to the state or local governments. The amendments taken on the floor ensures that state agencies can also give bidding preference, but must abide by existing procurement authority at DGS. This bill has received no votes, and I ask for your aye vote today. Thank you.
Any debate, members? Any debate? Seeing none, the Secretary. Oh, Senator Vargas.
I would just like to say that I appreciate that both this bill and the previous bill create jobs in California and opportunities. I just wanted to thank the author and the floor manager. Thank you.
Any further debate, members? The Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist, aye. Anderson, aye. Berryhill, aye. Blakesley, aye. Calderon, Canella, I. Corbett, I. Correa, I. De Leon, DeSaulnier, I. Dutton, I. Emerson, I. Evans, I. Fuller, I. Gaines, I. Hancock, Harmon, Hernandez, I. Huff, I. Kehoe, LaMalfa, I. Leno, I. Ted Lieu, I. Carol Lieu, I. Lowenthal, I. Negrete McLeod, Padilla, I. Pavley, I. Price, I. Rubio, I. Runner, I. Semidian, Steinberg, Strickland, I. Vargas, I. Walters, Wolk, I. Wright, I. Wyland, I. Yee. Yee, aye.
Call the absent members.
Calderon, De Leon, I. Hancock, I. Harmon, Kehoe,
Aye.
I. Negrete McLeod, Semidian, Steinberg, Walters.
Ayes 34, noes 0. That measure passes. Senator Corbett, for what purpose? For the next item, perhaps? The Secretary will read.
Assembly Bill 1314 by Assemblymember Wykowski, an act relating to air resources.
Senator
Yes, I'm
Corbett.
ready to go. Thank you very much, Madam President. Assembly Bill 1314 streamlines the Alternative and Renewable Fuel and Vehicle Technology Program at the California Energy Commission. This bill will allow the California Energy Commission to put more focus on grant solicitation and projects rather than on administrative procedures. Currently, a company has to wait up to a year before they can start spending their own money on a project, even though the company won a competitive award. This results in even larger delays if the company has to order specialty parts or fabricate their own parts for the completion of the project. In a time of diminishing resources, this bill will ensure efficiency and allow projects to be funded faster. Consequently, the program will be more effective for the remaining years of the program, which sunsets in 2015. The bill has received bipartisan support and is supported through it has support through the entire process, and the bill is supported by the Alliance of Automobile Manufacturers, the California Natural Gas Vehicle Coalition, the Coalition for Clean Air, and Tesla Motors. This bill did pass out of the Assembly on a 75-0 vote. I ask for your aye vote.
Members, is there any debate? Any debate on this one? The Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist, I. Anderson, Berryhill, no. I. Blakesley, Calderon, Canella, I. Corbett, I. Correa, I. De Leon, I. DeSaulnier, I. Dutton, I. Emerson, I. Evans, Fuller, I. Gaines, I. Hancock, I. Harmon, Hernandez, I. Huff, I. Kehoe, I. LaMalfa, I. Leno, I. Ted Lieu, I. Carol Lieu, I. Lowenthal, I. Negrete McLeod, Padilla, I. Pavley, I. Price, I. Rubio, I. Runner, I. Semidian, I. Steinberg, Strickland, I. Vargas, I. Walters, I. Wolk, I. Wright, I. Wyland, I. Yee. Yee, aye. Blakesley, aye. Anderson, aye.
Call the absent members. Call the absent members.
Calderon, Evans, aye. Harmon, Negrete McLeod, Steinberg.
Ayes 36, noes 0. That measure passes. Senator Carol Lieu, for what purpose?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to lift the call on AB 138, file number 235.
Members will go to file number 235, and that's AB 138. The Secretary will open the roll.
Calderon, De Leon, I. Emerson, Harmon, Hernandez, I. Negrete McLeod, Semidian. Semidian, aye. Emerson, no.
Ayes 23.
Correa,
Ayes
Correa, we have his aye.
Ayes 23, noes 14. The measure passes. We are at file item 267, and then we'll go to Senator Semidian members who passed on an item earlier, and then I'd like to take up my items before our recess. So Senator Correa, then Senator Semidian. That's file item 267. The Secretary will read.
Assembly Bill 156 by Assemblymember Lauder, an act relating to gaming.
Senator Correa.
Thank you, Senators. AB 156 provides protection for gaming enterprises operating games which were approved by the Bureau of Gaming and Control and later found to be operating unlawfully by the Bureau. In addition, this bill protects consumers by allowing them to redeem outstanding chips when a gaming enterprise is sold, leased, or goes into bankruptcy. This bill has received support on both sides of the aisle and received no votes. I ask for an aye vote.
Debate, members. Any debate? Seeing none, the Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. Aye. Berryhill. Aye. Blakesley. Aye. Calderon. Canella. Aye. Corbett. Aye. Correa. Aye. De Leon. Aye. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. Aye. Emerson. Aye. Evans. Fuller. Aye. Gaines. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. Aye. Kehoe.
Aye.
Aye. LaMalfa. Leno. Aye. Ted Lieu. Aye. Carol Lieu. Aye. Lowenthal. Negrete McLeod. Padilla. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Price. Aye. Rubio. Aye. Runner. Aye. Semidian. Aye. Steinberg. Strickland. Aye. Vargas. Aye. Walters. Aye. Wolk. Aye. Wright. Aye. Wyland. Aye. Yee.
Call the absent members.
Calderon. Evans. Aye. Gaines. Aye. Harmon. LaMalfa. Lowenthal. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Steinberg. Yee. Yee. Aye.
Ayes 35, noes 0. The measure passes. We'll go to Senator Semidian. What file item, Senator Semidian?
This is file item 83, Madam President.
File item 83, members. The Secretary will read.
Assembly Bill 631 by Assembly Member Ma, an act relating to public utilities.
Thank you, Madam President. Members, this measure will simply establish as a matter of state law what the PUC has already decided, which is that it is not appropriate to regulate electric vehicle charging stations as public utilities. That provides certainty for customers and investors in the electric vehicle infrastructure in the years ahead, helps a nascent industry grow. AB 631 is particularly timely because it is consistent with the PUC's actions to date, and it will not interfere with their future ability to evaluate electric vehicle charging policies. This is borne out by the fact that the PUC, in fact, supports AB 631. This is consistent with PUC and legislature's prior decision on compressed natural gas. The transportation fuel should not be regulated as a public utility. Absent this bill, members, the needed charging stations may not exist. Apartment complexes, parking garage, and commercial buildings obviously don't want to assume the regulatory burden of investing and expanding the infrastructure if this level of regulation were anticipated. I would respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Members, debate or discussion? Debate or discussion? Seeing none, the Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist. Anderson. Aye. Berryhill. Aye. Blakesley. Aye. Calderon. Canella. Aye. Corbett. Aye. Correa. Aye. De Leon. Aye. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. Aye. Emerson. Aye. Evans. Fuller. Aye. Gaines. Aye. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. Aye. Kehoe. LaMalfa. Leno. Aye. Ted Lieu. Aye. Carol Lieu. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Padilla. Pavley. Price. Aye. Rubio. Pavley. Aye. Price. Aye. Rubio. Runner. Aye. Semidian. Aye. Steinberg. Strickland. Aye. Vargas. Walters. Aye. Wolk. Aye. Wright. Aye. Wyland. Aye. Yee. Yee. Aye.
Call the absent members.
Alquist. Aye. Calderon. Evans. Aye. Harmon. Kehoe. LaMalfa. Aye. Carol Lieu. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Padilla. Rubio. Aye. Steinberg. Vargas. Vargas, aye.
Ayes 34, no 0. That measure passes. Senator Woke, for what purpose? Senator Woke.
Madam President, I'd like to ask permission to bring my goddaughter onto the floor, Sydney Short from Long Beach.
Welcome to your goddaughters. Any objection, members? Seeing none, Senator Woke's goddaughter will join her. And then I'm going to, there they are right there. Thank you, sir.
Members, at this time, I'd like to go to Senator Kehoe at Senator Kehoe's desk to take up items which otherwise would be taken up or would have been taken up were it not for the fact that she were here at the dais. Senator Kehoe, I believe your first item is file item 61. Is that correct?
Thank you, Mr. President.
File item 61. We'll ask the Secretary to please read.
Senate Bill 482 by Senator Kehoe, an act relating to public health.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. This bill improves the ability of the state to help sustain California's model beach monitoring program. It makes important changes to the program and would transfer the monitoring responsibilities for the program from the Department of Public Health to the Water Board. It also gives the Water Board authority to secure sustainable funding. The Assembly amendments make several clarifying changes and technical changes. They cap the amount of money that can be taken from the waste permit discharge, and the bill is sponsored by the California Association of Environmental Health Administrators and supported by a number of coastal counties, including my own. There's no opposition. Ask for your aye vote.
Members, is there debate or discussion on this measure? Debate or discussion on this measure? If not, is there any objection to substituting the unanimous roll call? There is. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. No. Berryhill. No. Blakesley. Calderon. Canella. Corbett. Aye. Correa. De Leon. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. No. Emerson. Evans. Aye. Fuller. No. Gaines. No. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. No. Kehoe. Aye. LaMalfa. No. Leno. Aye. Ted Lieu. Aye. Carol Lieu. Aye. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Padilla. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Price. Rubio. Aye. Runner. No. Semidian.
Aye.
Aye. Steinberg. Strickland. No. Vargas. Aye. Walters. No. Wolk. Aye. Wright. Aye. Wyland. No. Yee. Yee. Aye.
Call the absent members.
Blakesley. No. Calderon. Canella. Correa. No. De Leon. Aye. Emerson. Harmon. Negrete McLeod. Price. Aye. Steinberg.
Members, ayes 21.
Emerson, no.
Ayes 21, noes 14. The Assembly amendments are concurred in. Members, that takes us to file item 157. This is Senator Kehoe's next presentation. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 187 by Assembly Member Lara, an act relating to state government.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. This bill by Assemblymember Lara expands the state auditor's current high-risk audit program by allowing the state auditor to review local governments during the course of the auditor's high-risk program. Currently, the auditor is authorized only to audit state agencies under this specific program. The purpose is to reduce of the high-risk program is to determine if there are areas in the state that are at risk of waste, fraud, and abuse, mismanagement. The issue is part of our transparency package. It allows our auditor to alert the legislature to areas in our government that may be at risk before the issue turns into another City of Bell. It has received bipartisan support, and I ask for your aye vote.
Is there debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Secretary, call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. No. Berryhill. No. Blakesley. Calderon. Canella. Corbett. Aye. Correa. Aye. De Leon. Aye. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. Aye. Emerson. No. Evans. Aye. Fuller. Gaines. No. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. No. Kehoe.
Aye.
Aye. LaMalfa. No. Leno. Aye. Ted Lieu. I. Carol Liu. I. Lowenthal. I. Negrete McLeod. Padilla. I. Pavley. I. Price. I. Rubio. I. Runner. No. Semidian.
Aye.
I. Steinberg. Strickland. I. Vargas. I. Walters. No. Wolk. I. Wright. I. Wyland. No. Yee. Yee. Aye. Wyland. No to I.
Mr.
Blakesley.
Secretary, please call the absent members.
Blakesley. Aye. Calderon. Canella. Fuller. Aye. Harmon. Negrete McLeod. Steinberg.
Ayes 27, noes 8. The bill is passed. Senator Kehoe, I believe your next item is file item 175. Is that correct?
File item 175.
Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 673 by Assembly Member John A. Perez and Acroling to Public Health.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill by the Speaker integrates health issues affecting the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community puts it in the Office of State Multicultural Health. The Office of Multicultural Health has a mission to increase the capacity of the Departments of Public Health and Healthcare Services to reduce gaps and improve healthcare provision and access among the state's diverse population. This will help LGBT Californians. I respectfully request your aye vote.
Members, is there debate or discussion on this item? If not, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Alquist. I. Anderson. No. Berryhill. Blakesley. Calderon. Canella. Corbett. I. Correa. I. De Leon. I. DeSaulnier. I. Dutton. I. Dutton, I don't know. Emerson. No. Evans. I. Fuller. No. Gaines. Hancock. I. Harmon. Hernandez. I. Huff. No. Kehoe.
Aye.
I. LaMalfa. No. Leno. I. Ted Lieu. I. Carol Liu. I. Lowenthal. I. Negrete McLeod. Padilla. I. Pavley. I. Price. I. Rubio. I. Runner. No. Semidian.
Aye.
I. Steinberg. Strickland. No. Vargas. I. Walters. No. Wolk. I. Wright. I. Wyland. No. Yee. Yee. Aye.
Mr. Secretary, please call the absent members.
Berryhill. Blakesley. No. Okay. Blakesley, no. Calderon. Canella. No. Gaines. No. Harmon. Negrete McLeod. Steinberg. Berryhill, no.
Call the absent members.
Calderon. Harmon. Negrete McLeod. Steinberg.
Ayes 22, noes 14. The bill is passed. Members, we are at file item 178. File item 178. Mr. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 696 by Assembly Member Hueso and Acroling to Economic Development.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. This bill by Assemblymember Hueso requires the Infrastructure Bank to set guidelines for measuring anticipated economic benefits for projects funded under the bank's Infrastructure State Revolving Fund program. The bill is in response to the LAO's recommendations in 2008-9 that all Infrastructure State Revolving Fund projects demonstrate levels of economic development and land use benefits. The iBank, at its discretion, implements this law and develops their own procedures that will correspond to the LAO's recommendation. It's about improved efficiencies, creating jobs and retaining jobs, and increasing sales revenue in our state. Members, I would ask for your aye vote.
Members, is there debate or discussion on this item? Seeing and hearing none. Secretary, please call the roll.
Alquist. I. Anderson. No. Berryhill. Blakesley. Calderon. Canella. No. Corbett. I. Correa. I. De Leon. I. DeSaulnier. I. Dutton. No. Emerson. No. Evans. I. Fuller. No. Gaines. No. Hancock. I. Harmon. Hernandez. I. Huff. No Kehoe.
Aye.
I Lamalfa. No Leno. I Ted Lieu. I Carol Lieu. I Lowenthal. I Negrete McLeod. Padilla. Pavley. I Price. I Rubio. Runner. No Semidian.
Aye.
I Steinberg. Strickland. No Vargas. I Walters. No Wolk. Wright. Wyland. Right aye. Wyland no. Yee. Yee aye. Berryhill no.
Mr. Secretary, please call the absent members.
Blakesley. No. Calderon. Harmon. Negrete McLeod. Padilla. Aye. Rubio. Aye. Steinberg. Wolk.
Please call the absent members.
Calderon. Harmon. Negrete McLeod. Steinberg. Wolk.
Ayes 21, noes 14. The bill is passed. And I believe we have one more item for you, Senator Kehoe, and that is file item 255. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 620 by Assembly Member Block, enacting to public post-secondary education.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. This bill by Assembly Member Block addresses bullying and discrimination in our higher education campuses. The bill achieves safer campuses for CSU and UC, as well as community colleges, through a number of objectives, including improved data collection, establishing LGBT liaisons on campuses, updating student codes of conduct, and developing recommendations for future actions to improve the safety of LGBT students, staff, and faculty on our state campuses. It has a wide range of support. It is sponsored by the Equality California, and I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Members, is there debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. No. Berryhill. Blakesley. No. Calderon. Canella. No. Corbett. Aye. Correa. Aye. De Leon. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. No. Emerson. No. Evans. Aye. Fuller. No. Gaines. No. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. No. Kehoe.
Aye.
Aye. Lamalfa. No. Leno. Aye. Ted Lieu. Aye. Carol Lieu. Aye. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Padilla. Aye. Pavley. Price. Aye. Rubio. Runner. No. Semidian. Aye. Steinberg. Strickland. No. Vargas. Aye. Walters. No. Wolk. Wright. Aye. Wyland. No. Yee. Berryhill no. Pavley aye. Calderon. De Leon. Aye. Harmon. Negrete McLeod. Rubio. Aye. Steinberg. Wolk. Yee.
Mr. Secretary, please call the absent members.
Calderon. Harmon. Negrete McLeod. Steinberg. Wolk. Yee.
Senator Kehoe moves a call. Senator Kehoe, I believe that completes the items that you wish to take up at this time. That does complete the items you wish to take up at this time. Thank you, Senator. Members, we are returning to the file. We are at Assembly third reading, and we are at file item 268. Once again, we are at file item 268. Senator Hernandez, are you prepared to take that issue up? Passed. File item 269. Senator Hancock, are you prepared to take that item up? Not at her desk. File item, forgive me. Senator Hancock, would you like to take up file item 269? Passed temporarily. Thank you. File item 270. Senator Ted Lieu, would you like to take this item up? Pass. 271. Senator Juan Vargas, would you like to take this item up, Senator? Please read.
Assembly Bill 243 by Assembly Member Alejo, enacting to employment.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, you may recall this item passed before. It needed some amendments, however, so it is back. AB 243 requires a farm worker's wage statement to list the grower or the farm contractor for whom he or she worked during the pay period. The bill clearly states that listing the legal entity on the wage statement does not create any additional liabilities. Most of California's farm workers are supplied to farmers by farm labor contractors licensed by the state. Yet they are not required to disclose who contracted the farm labor contractor. In a recent survey of over 1,000 Central Valley farm workers, it was found that 70% of the workers could not identify the name of the farm they worked on. More than 600,000 farm workers are needed to harvest crops on the over 64,000 farms in California. Knowing where a farm worker is working is critical, especially in instances where there are problems in the workplace. I'd respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Debate or discussion? Debate or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. No. Berryhill. No. Blakesley. No. Calderon. Canella. No. Corbett. Aye. Correa. Aye. De Leon. Aye. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. Emerson. No. Evans. Aye. Fuller. Gaines. No. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. No. Kehoe. Aye. LaMalfa. Leno. Aye. Ted Lieu.
Aye.
Aye. Carol Lieu. Aye. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Padilla. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Price. Rubio. Runner. No. Smidian. Aye. Steinberg. Strickland. No. Vargas. Aye. Walters. No. Wolk. Wright. Aye. Wyland. No. Yee. Yee, aye.
Call the absent members.
Calderon. Dutton. No. Fuller. No. Harmon. LaMalfa. No. Negrete McLeod. Price. Aye. Rubio. Steinberg. Aye. Wolk.
Ayes 21, noes 14. The measure passes. Now I understand, Senator Hancock, we're going back to 269, then to Senator Lieu, Senator Ted Lieu. We're at file item 269, and the Secretary will read.
Assembly Bill 1358 by Assembly Member Fuentes, enacting the vehicles.
Senator Hancock.
Thank you, Madam President. AB 1358 is a bill with the potential to bring in some much-needed revenue to the courts and counties that choose to participate in this voluntary program. Last year, as part of the budget, the legislature adopted a one-time amnesty program for infractions. The program established a 6-month window where individuals who have failed to pay infraction fines and penalties may pay 50% of what they owe and be released from further liability. The program is mandatory and is scheduled to be implemented in 2012. AB 1358 would add certain vehicle code and misdemeanor fines to that 2012 amnesty program. Currently in California, a large amount of fines, fees, and penalties issued by the courts go uncollected. Many defendants would like to pay what they owe, but are financially unable to do so, afraid to approach the courts because the ticket is old or whatever. Amnesty programs provide incentive for these individuals to pay a portion of what they owe and give courts and counties an infusion of cash which would otherwise remain uncollected, help clear the court's dockets, and will help keep our courtrooms open. It's important to note the bill does not allow amnesty for certain misdemeanors such as DUI or reckless driving, is completely discretionary on the part of the counties and courts. It has strong bipartisan support, and I respectfully request your aye vote.
Debate or discussion, members? Any debate? Seeing none, the Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. No. Berryhill. Aye. Blakesley. Aye. Calderon. Canella. Aye. Corbett. Aye. Correa. De Leon. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. Emerson. I. Evans. I. Fuller. I. Gaines. I. Hancock. I. Harmon. Hernandez. I. Huff. I. Kehoe.
Aye.
I. LaMalfa. I. Leno. I. Ted Lieu. I. Carol Lieu. I. Lowenthal. I. Negrete McLeod. Padilla. I. Pavley. I. Price. I. Rubio. I. Runner. I. Semidian. Steinberg. I. Strickland. I. Vargas. I. Walters. I. Wolk. Wright. I. Wyland. I. Yee. Yee, aye. Anderson, note aye.
Call the absent members.
Calderon. Correa. Correa, aye. De Leon. De Leon, aye. Dutton. Aye. Harmon. Negrete McLeod. Smidian. Aye. Wolk.
Ayes 36, no 0. The measure passes. We're at file item 270. Members, the Secretary will read.
Assembly Bill 469 by Assemblymember Swanson, enacting to employment.
Senator Lieu.
Thank you, Madam President and Senators. This bill addresses the underground economy and the theft of wages. The bill contains a number of important provisions that strengthen existing law and improve enforcement against those bad actors who operate in the underground economy. The author and the sponsors have worked with the opposition and a number of groups, including the California Chamber of Commerce, the California Retailers Association, and the California Grocers Association, all who have now removed their opposition to this bill. The underground economy harms workers, and this bill will help level the playing field. Respectfully request, and I vote on this measure.
Debate or discussion, members? Any debate? Seeing none, the Secretary will call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. No. Berryhill. No. Blakesley. Calderon. Canella. No. Corbett. Aye. Correa.
How many do we have?
De Leon. Aye. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. No. Emerson. No. Evans. Aye. Fuller. No. Gaines. No. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. Kehoe. Aye. LaMalfa. Leno. LaMalfa, no. Leno, aye. Ted Lieu. Aye. Carol Lieu. Aye. Lowenthal. Negrete McLeod. Padilla. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Price. Aye. Rubio. Runner. No. Semidian. Aye. Steinberg. Aye. Strickland. No. Vargas. Aye. Walters. No. Wolk. Wright. Aye. Wyland. No. Yee. Yee, aye. Blakesley, no.
Call the absent members.
Calderon. Correa. Harmon. Huff. No. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Rubio. Aye. Wolk.
Ayes are 21, noes 14. The measure passes. We are at file item 272. Senator Hancock is not at her desk. Members, I want to move toward recess now. Rules Committee will meet at 1:30. We will reconvene here at the floor around 3:30. And in the meantime, we will go into an appropriations hearing for one bill, 3191, and we should be out in time to accommodate Rules Committee members. So, members, upon recess, appropriations will meet in 3191 for one bill. We're recessed.